Welcome to the Audiobook Lovin Podcast, discussing all things audiobooks with the authors that write the stories and the narrators that perform them. Brought to you by Viviana, Enchantress of Books.
Today's episode is sponsored by Adler Audios.
This is for the lovers of white shoes hockey romances.
What do you want?
Tristan, you, world domination.
Does Tristan know that?
He will. Watch out, Sparrow, lest you fly too close to the sun.
Get dark and dirty with Twisted Play by Poppy Jacobson. Available at adleraudios.com/Poppy Jacobson.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Audiobook Lovin Podcast, where we celebrate the storytellers behind the stories. From authors to narrators, we dive into all things romance and the voices that bring it to life. I'm your host, Viviana, Enchantress of Books, and today I am chatting with narrator Dominique Franceschi. Welcome to the podcast. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you so much for having me.
I'm so excited. For those that may not know, I actually love a good Excel spreadsheet, and I have my list of guests in advance because I'm also a planner. And I was like, I have Dominique. I can't wait to talk to Dominique. Ooh, the list is getting, like you start moving down and and color coding things. And I was like, hey, it's today. Yay.
Color coding and spreadsheets is one of my love languages. So
see, yeah. See, we're going to be the best of friends. Watch. We're going to start by having you tell us a little bit about yourself, how long you've been narrating and how you got started.
So my name's Dominique. I was born in Colombia. Right now I'm in LA. And I went through like a journey to finally land into audiobooks because I started with musical theater. And then I moved to the US to get a degree because for me, it was really important to get a degree in case at some point I wanted to teach. And at that time in Colombia, they weren't offering like official degrees. So in my 20s, I moved to the US and then I'm like, oh, wait, English is my second language. I should concentrate on something where I don't really have to speak. So I got a degree in dance. And then I moved, that was in the Bay Area. And then I moved to LA. And then here it wasn't like a full performing arts big college. And I was working in the marketing department, and the voice acting teacher was also the one who did like the movie screenings. So I talked to him a lot. And at one point he was like, why haven't I never seen you in my voice acting classes? And I'm like, well, because English is my second language. Who's going to want to hear that? And he said, and to this day, Stu was his name. He has since passed. He said, that is not your problem and that is not for you to decide. But if you never put yourself out there, you're never going to let people decide for themselves.
Wow.
And so I was like, oh yeah, life-changing. And then pandemic happened after graduation and everyone was just like offering courses on things. And I was in like this curious moment of my life. And I stumbled upon Elise Arsenault and we kept crossing paths. And she has a course on audiobook narration, The Great Audiobook Adventure. And I was like, it basically covers like business, craft, and then setting up your home studio. And I'm like, okay, if audiobooks ends up not being the thing, then I have a home studio and I have learned all these things about business. And then I just fell in love with audiobooks. That was 2021. And I feel lucky every day that I get to do this for a living. It feels like a dream that I get paid to read and then to act, and I get to be all the characters.
Isn't that fun? I think a lot of times from if you have an acting background or a passion for it, the ability to be every single character, regardless of height or anything else, right?
I'm Colombian, but like the global perception of Colombia is basically like Sofia Vergara, which bless her heart, love her. I love that she's thriving. I look nothing like her. So I would show up to rooms and they're like, are you Colombian? And I'm like, do you want to see my birth certificate? So yeah, audiobook really freed me to like step into my own power and just like be my authentic self as much as possible.
Good. Yeah. I hate those stereotypes that we as a society and individuals sometimes fall into or provide others to with it when it comes down to the whole, again, Dominican, as you were saying with Sofia Vergara or being Latina and having, and then insert the thing. And I'm like, yeah, that's not me either. Cause I'm first generation American and my dad was from Cuba, my mom's from Chile. And they actually, I remember when in Miami, we have Spanish as a second, like an elective. And they put me in advanced Spanish. And I'm like, no, sorry. They're like, but your last name is Milian. And your parents, they go, yeah, but technically I speak Spanish only in the house and everything outside is English. So no advanced Spanish for me. Gracias. You know? And we have it, or everybody thinks, oh, you're Latina, so you have an accent. And I'm like, not all of us do, but okay.
Yes. Oh, yes. And then there's different accents, and they're just like, oh, Spanish or Hispanic accent, and I'm like, from where?
Exactly.
From where?
Yeah. And then the accent, the follow-up question to that is it the accent when I'm speaking the Spanish language or when I'm speaking English?
Right.
Because that's different, and you can't tell if it's, what the background is on the accent if you're speaking English. So yeah, I love casting, but those are the questions that I always have to resend in emails when an author's like, and by the way.
I imagine.
Yeah. Those are always fun. But I'm glad that you found that professor of yours that gave you that spiel was completely spot on. How we always sometimes stop doing things that we may be curious about because we think we're not, insert whatever the rationale / excuses. And we have to be like, and he nailed, he totally pointed, you're like, no, girl.
Yeah. He, again, changed my life. I don't think he realized, and it was a random, like, casual conversation, but I was like, again, well, here we are many years later, 2026. So like almost 10 years later, and I'm still repeating that sentence he said to me. So
yeah. And you have to remind yourself of it too, because we forget. Again,
I have it on a post-it stuck on my home studio, like behind where my computer screen is, just so I can look up and be like, that's right, that's not my business. Other people's opinion of me is none of my business.
Yep. Perfect. Now you've been doing this all these years, and some of the processes have changed a bit since, the pandemic, and then now being more in regular life kind of thing. And also as we continue to grow our skill sets, what is your process like once you know that you've been cast and that you're about to start a book to start recording? Do you have a process, and what does that look like?
Okay, so usually as soon I read the whole book, but I also mark a lot of things, which I know people have like diverting opinions on that, but I don't know what it is about my neurospiciness, but I associate vocal placement and characters with colors. So I have specific colors for like specific characters wherever they fit. So I'll get the manuscript. I don't usually, unless it's a super rushed job, will prep the prep script. I wait until I have the final so I can mark it as I go, and I only have to read it once. And I create a spreadsheet that is color coded. And that spreadsheet it has everything from like how long is each chapter, if it's a split, what chapters are mine, what chapters are not, any questions that I have as I'm prepping, any information that comes up about characters. And so I have my little spreadsheet, and then I'm reading the book. And I just, after that, I send in my questions to either the co-narrator, producer, or both. And then I just dive in and start recording. And depending on the book, I'll do character samples for either the co-narrator or myself. Because sometimes I'll leave myself like hints of like, oh, it sounds like this. And then I'm like, what did I mean by that? Or I'll reference a video game character that I'm playing as I'm prepping, but then I finish the game and then I'm like, oh, I don't remember who like Steven is anymore. So I'll do character samples also, so I have I'm able to go back to those when I'm recording.
Yeah. Okay. You mentioned the video game stuff. I know that a lot of times some of the narrators, part of the career path is like not only audiobooks, but maybe to get into other areas of audio, such as video games, or they have come from video games getting into audios. But as a listener, is there a whole lot of a difference in how you process the prepping for a video game and or audiobook? And also in case there are any narrators listening and they're like, wait, I want to get into that. Hold on. What was that?
Girl, yes. So basically, narration, I think most of us call it like a marathon, because you're in a person's ear for however many hours, usually at least more than one, unless it's like a kid's book. Whereas I feel like video games, you have so many other elements, usually like visual elements, and there's a soundtrack and other things supporting you, that you're like, you're an important ingredient, but you're not the only ingredient. Whereas with narration, like, you're it. That's it. You're the whole pie, the whole cake, the whole meal. So I think there's a difference of like navigating yourself, your voice, and your listener through the journey of the story. And then with video games, I feel like it's more like smaller moments of like, yes, moving the story forward, but like it's not just you carrying everything. So I think it's like lifting with different muscles.
Okay. And the same thing with like animation, right? It would be, because we're now seeing more things behind the scenes of, which I love sometimes, of the actors being very animated, you know, pun intended there, as far as, and you're going, are you tired afterwards? They're doing all the movements, and even their facial expression is that almost mirroring what we are seeing on screen in the animation aspect of it all. Do you find the same thing as it being another layer of difference in between that and audiobooks?
Yeah. And like, I think because I come from like stage acting background, I tend to get super physical, but I do sit down when I'm recording audiobooks. So it's like a different way of expelling that energy, where with like, if it's animation or like, especially like commercial voiceover, I'm like standing up. I'm like, hello, I'm here. I'm like in the thing the whole time. I feel like it's always like 100% in these like shorter form voiceovers. Whereas with narration, if it's always 100%, then it's the same as it always being 0. So there has to be levels.
Okay. So that's helpful too. Because again, we see sometimes these behind the scenes things to not only you guys, because we also get you guys behind the scenes in the booth sometimes being recording. And that's where I think sometimes in this conception of, oh, being an audiobook narrator is easy. And because all I'm doing is reading a book and sitting on my butt, right? And you're going, sitting on your butt quietly is not the easiest thing to do. Plus also, ouch.
Yes, I never thought I would like be well versed on like seat cushions and types of chairs, but here I am.
Adulting.
Yes. But yeah, I think with narration, it's more, and like even like with shorter form VO, you usually like do the line a few times. Like they ask you for 3 takes or whatever with like different efforts or whatever it is. Whereas in like narration, you get 1 take. So, and it has to be the take that makes sense to the best of your ability. So I think they're different. They are similar in the sense that you are using your voice and you need a good microphone, but they are so different in every other way, in like how you tell the story. In audiobooks, you have the whole book to tell the story, whereas in like commercials or VO, you have a few lines to tell the story. So similar but different.
Yeah. And then also sometimes with VO and commercials as well as animation, you have a director in there with you during your session that says, no, a little bit more of this or a little bit more of that, right? Versus audiobooks, I know for sure, unless you're maybe in the studio of, you know, insert big production house here, you're in there by yourself and nobody else.
Yes, the collaborative like aspect of audiobooks, I feel like is like it happens more in the prep, or if you're really lucky and you get to live record with others, which I've done once in my whole career. But yeah, it's usually like it's a solitary craft. But then I think in that solitude also comes like the magic of, okay, here I am with all these characters and they're my friends now for the next however many days it takes me to complete this book. But yeah, there's less feedback. So you have to be very good at self-directing yourself and trusting yourself.
That's hard. I'm always second guessing stuff. So
Yes.
I give you guys props. There are times where I have to do some form of like video to post online, or even like with even now with like the podcast, now that we're doing advertisements, and then I get a script and I have to be like saying the words and making it sound right. There's like 16,000 different takes 3 hours later, and it's like a 2 second. It's like the ad is less than 5 seconds sometimes.
Yeah.
And here y'all doing like 24-hour, 1,000-hour books.
Yeah. They're like different monsters.
Yeah.
different monsters.
Yeah, I've gotten to the point where I'm like, I think I'm gonna start getting some coaching just to be able to not have to do this for 3 hours. For a 5-second thing, because I'm like, I'm done. But coaching is really important, and sometimes people tend to forget that when they're thinking about getting into this as a career, or even as a listener, when it comes down to the why are some of these audiobooks so expensive, aside from the cost is, but there's also these skill sets that these narrators that our actors have gotten in order to be as good as they are for when they get into our ears. Coaching is important. What are your thoughts on that?
I think if you really love and respect something and you want to dedicate your time to it, the best way to honor it and yourself is to get coaching on it so you can do it to the best of your abilities, and not being afraid of like starting from level 1. There's a gamer. Knowing that if you start at level 1, all you can do is keep leveling up. But if you don't ask questions and if you don't get coaching in the thing that you want to do by someone who knows the thing that you want to do, which is also important, not just getting coaching, but who you're getting coaching from. I think it's like respect for yourself and respect for the craft and setting yourself up for success by actually like knowing what you want to get yourself into. Otherwise, I feel like you're like failing before you even start. Yeah,
I'm a firm believer of continuing education, regardless of what the landscape looks like. Because if you are the best in the room, that's not a fun room to be in. People maybe from an ego's perspective might be like, I'm the best. And like, well, if you want to stay in that small room, by all means, go forward. I'm going to go over here and continue to develop. Yeah.
If you're the best in the room, you're in the wrong room.
Yep, you're in the wrong room. And what else are you contributing to it? So I'm constantly, sometimes when I see people online either giving really bad advice, as I recently did on Threads, and I'm going, I literally went, the fuck? Because I'm going, I see you have a booth. You went as far as to get a booth and get all the advice that it was so inaccurate. I mean, to go in there, and I know sometimes it happens for shock value, but I'm like, yeah. So if you're hearing this episode and you're like, I want to, be in that audiobook narrator VO, do the work, reach out to some people. There's a lot of information out there. A lot of us have resources already on our websites in case. So, because otherwise,
it's a very, the audiobook community, in my experience, it's such a welcoming, like we really want to raise the tide for everyone. So if you're coming from a genuine place of like, I respect this craft and I want to be better at it, people will help. Like they're just nice.
They are. Just respect their time and their skill sets. And if you're looking to get coaching and stuff like that, be open to feedback.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Yes.
And delivery also is important for those of us that are coaching, by the way. Delivery of the feedback is, and I'm not saying you got to like sugarcoat everything and don't do the whole ego thing as far as having to placate them, but also again, delivery of that feedback is important.
Yeah. Yes. A good teacher makes all the difference in the world.
Yes. Because it's important. And again, also it's how people are, but if people are willing to learn, there's so much out there. So again, if you're listening and you're thinking about getting into this profession, just go ahead and start doing some research and asking and go from there.
Can I plug things or should I not?
Yeah, go ahead. Plug.
Oh my gosh. Okay. So Narrator's Roadmap has a ton of content in there, a lot of it for free, other behind a very, very reasonable paywall. There's also PANA, the Professional Audiobook Narrators Association, which is exactly that, a Professional Audiobook Narrators Association. And both of these, I think, are all about getting knowledge out there, helping people learn the craft, and also like pointing them in the right direction depending on what you need. Because maybe you need like, oh, I'm running out of breath, or I don't know how to create characters, or how do I like prep a book. So there's a lot of areas for you to grow in. Those are the two that come off the top of my mind that I haven't mentioned that I wanted to plug because I think they're great and they're doing great work.
Yeah, no, they're doing great work. And when Pan is hilarious because of the name. I was like, okay, well, at least you're straight to the point and we don't have to figure out what the, what it means.
Yeah.
But I love them. They're great. And Narrator.life is a really good one too. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because again, like you said, there are some paywalls, but also guys, and I'm just saying it as someone that also provides, services in the industry.
Mm-hmm.
When there is a cost associated, there's also, because, we all have bills.
Right.
Yes. With that. And there's going to be a lot of stuff that is available out there for free. So be also advised of that, because not everything that's free is good. So,
oh my gosh, a t-shirt says that, please.
Yeah, exactly. So be mindful of that as well.
Yes.
I was looking before our chats on Audible, and I really wish that there was a different website that we can have more for cross-referencing things. You've done a lot of different genres that you've narrated in, and one of them being romance, but romance is also an interesting genre because there's so many subgenres. Yes. Where we get into the whole like romantic comedies and the dark romances and sports and all that other fun stuff. What is it about romance specifically in general that you love narrating? Like, what is it about romance?
Oh my gosh. And as I'm working on a romance this week, so I do have a pseudonym. She's very, very secret. No one knows that she exists. And basically the romance that I've put under my name is romance that I feel represents what being either like living in a country that you were not born in, or growing up with a family that's from one place and you're growing up in a different one, that really respectfully portrayed the characters. So it wasn't really, I thought it was important to put this book under my name because it wasn't just romance, but it was like romance that was accurate and about the love and that was real and had like 4-dimensional characters. And I think that's it. Like, I don't know. I love love. I am deeply in love. I am married. And I think it's that little like droplet of hope that there is a person out there, and it doesn't have to be romantic, but it often is, but that there is a person or people out there that really understand you, that care for you, that want to see you grow, that you're never going to be a burden to, and that just like believe in you even when you don't believe in yourself, and see the parts of you that you're not proud of or that you would try to hide, and they celebrate them. And I think especially in romance books, there's a lot of that, of just like, I love you unconditionally and like, let's figure this out together. And I think that's why it's like the biggest genre, both in audiobooks and in print. Because who doesn't want a little bit of like a warm fuzzy inside that makes me believe that the world could be a better place, especially right now.
Goodness gracious. Yeah, I know. It's a perk of like working from home and owning your own businesses. I don't have to go outside unless I really, 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 really want to. But audiobooks does allow for that exploring. Like there's been times where the books in takes place, or they take a trip to France, and that was never really one of the places. While fantastic and great for food, it's not what, and you get to learn some things as far as the places, but also even about yourself, like maybe. Yes. And that's been the biggest reason why romance, aside from the great stories and everything that you said about the love aspect of either loving someone else or learning to love yourself in order to then be able to love someone else. There's a lot of self-discovery when we come into some of these characters. We're going to know about traveling, or, hey, I actually do like doing XYZ, or in some cases within romance, that's what that thing was called that I like, called kink. Got it. Yes. Oh, it's all the discovery stuff. But you've also, like I said, these other genres that you've done, again, according to lovely Audible. You've done children's audiobooks, comedy, humor, computer technology, health and wellness, LGBTQ+. I mean, you pretty much run the gamut. I think you kind of hit everything. Is there a genre that you have yet to narrate in that you're going, wait, it's on my list, it's on that Excel spreadsheet? What happened?
No, never mind. No, I did get to work on that. Fantasy was on my bucket list for the longest time. And finally last year I got the author reach out directly, and I got to work in this lovely, lovely fantasy book. And it was Mayan fantasy, and it was like strong female lead, checking all the boxes. And I'm like, this is a dream come true. And the co-narrator was great. But I think most recently I worked in horror, not knowing it was horror. It was like the book description, you're like, oh, this is a thriller. It's like a mystery thriller. And then it was like gore and like torture and stuff. And I'm like, oh. So I think that was one that wasn't necessarily on my bucket list, but that I got to experience. And because of how I'm an empath, I don't think that's the genre for me, because I wanted a children's book cleanse after that. I'm like, I need rainbows and bunnies and good things. But I'm trying to think, honestly, more fantasy. But at the end of the day, really, like, I feel the luckiest doing this when I'm like, this is a good story. Like, this is well written. This is a good book, a good story with good characters. Which I think is also why I have worked on so many genres, because I'm like, if the book is good, I'll happily audition for it.
We're going to take a quick break for a few seconds because we have some goodies thanks to Adler Audio. Content warning. It's about to get very spicy. Like really, really spicy. Don't say I didn't warn you. Ready?
Yes, like that. Such a good girl for me. Look at you, taking me in your mouth like you were fucking made to suck my cock.
Get dark and dirty with Twisted Play by Poppy Jacobson. Available at adleraudios.com/Poppy Jacobson.
If you weren't curious with the first little ad in the beginning, I'm sure you are now. Who's going to buy it? All right, we're going to get back to the show. And tell me later on socials about if you're going to buy it or not. Also, hint, there's another little clip at the very end. Stay tuned. That's important. I think a lot of times we are with so many things out there, and which is, again, great. I love that anyone nowadays can be like, write a book and get it out there, which is fantastic. It's the need to really like what you're doing, right?
Yes.
And that's inclusive of being a narrator, being an author, doing anything else. If you don't like what you're doing, it's hard. It's hard. I've been there, done that. No, thank you. But yeah, the genres is very interesting too, especially now that horror is one of those that's a little difficult to sometimes identify, unless it's like, what exactly labels it a horror? And I think, like you mentioned, kind of the gore, but there's been a couple of times where I've had some narrator friends saying, so I'm doing this horror, and I'm going, you don't like gore? She's like, yeah, this is, I know. But it was executedly brilliantly done. And I'm like, oh, so you had fun? She's like, yeah, I think I want more. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, thrillers was one that I was like, I don't want to be scared in my booth. And then I worked on my first thriller, and it was a multicast. So I got to like just dip my toes in, and I'm like, wait, do I like mysteries and thrillers now? And I do. It's a great genre that I had never read for leisure before actually working on it.
The things that you get to do sometimes because it's work.
Yes. Yes, I have learned a lot about many things being a narrator.
Right?
And I think that's part of the fun.
Yeah, especially if you're a learner, you're going, I didn't know about that. Cool. Yeah. That's the thing too with like the gore, and you were saying about being the empath. I would be the one that would probably be like, but why are we running upstairs? Instead of out the back where the cars are at? Let's go.
I let's go to that shed with the chainsaws in it. No.
Oh goodness. And I've noticed too sometimes that because of being bilingual and having different cultures within the family, right? And stuff like that, we kind of see things a little bit differently And so when I think there was Eddie Murphy years ago did a skit about like when white folks were trying to buy a house, and they're Americans, and they're like, and they hear the get out, and they're like, it's great, I think we're gonna redecorate it, and they continue to want to buy it, and then anyone else ethnicity they run. I'm really big on authenticity and representations and things like that, and sometimes when I'm reading books that have either a different culture or a different ethnicity in the background, I'm going, especially when it's Latina, and I'm going, where's the chancla? There's got to be something in there about a chancla, and like, or with the mom and stuff. Have you've come across something like that in your books that you've narrated when it comes down to our lovely cultures?
Yes. So Caroline Frank, I love her writing, and this is my second time working with her, and she does a great job of just like keeping it like true, like telling it how it really is. And I appreciate that. Whenever I read something and I'm like a character, like that's 100% my mom, or that's 100% my tia, or yes, that's 100% how the dynamic was at home. I'm like, it warms my heart, A, that I'm getting to even audition for these projects, but B, that there are books out there that are really portraying things as they really are. Because when I was growing up, I grew up thinking that the stereotype of what it was to be Colombian or be Latina was accurate, even as I was living it and knowing that it wasn't 100% accurate. I was like, okay, it's okay that the reality is different than what is being put out there. But now the things that are being put out there, and not just like for South Americans, but just like across so many, many different things, are like accurate to the real thing, that I'm like, okay, if little me had a glimpse of this growing up, I think having that sense of like belonging, of like not feeling alone, it's just so powerful. And it excites me that more and more stories like these are being told, like where it's like, oh, we don't have to fit into the box. Let's shatter the box completely, because humans are not boxes. We're alive, and we're changing, and we're growing, and we're not all the same, even though we have lived experiences that intersection with one another. But not every single like immigrant coming of age story is going to be the same. Not every single like queer romance is going to be the same. And I think I'm excited by how many different true stories are being put out there right now.
Yes. That is exciting. No, it does, because I mean, we're constantly being fed via social media or streaming, stuff like that, different things. And when we find something that we're going, oh, mi abuelita, or like, oh, my tia, right? You're going, oh, like I grew up watching Que Pasa USA, which was a Cuban family coming from, and so the kids were first generation American. If not, they came in when they were toddlers enough where they felt like more American than Cuban, but the grandmother lived with them. And I'm going, my grandmother lives with me too. And it's all these things, and being able to see that and not feel like no one else knows what you're talking about, or like when we have like curfews and like chaperonas.
Yes.
You're not allowed to date. What do you mean I can't go out on a date? All my friends are like in middle school. I'm like, no, you're not allowed to date. No boyfriend here. Okay. Viviana. I'm like, okay, mommy, sorry.
Like you invite him home, but then your mom is there as well. And you're like, yes, this is not a date, mom.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, it's one thing too, like when you're going into like, you see like TV shows that have like, when in high school, they have those long lockers that people would fit into, like being bullied or whatever. I didn't have those. So not only did I have to deal with that, it's a lie about those lockers, but also when it came down to even growing up. So it's nice to see more and more shows that are talking about some of the stereotypical stuff, but also the little things like the chancleta or the arroz con leche or the papusa. I mean, there's so many different things. And so it's just good. And so not totally looking her up for that book.
And I think a lot of the children's books that I have had the privilege and honor of working in are from like people that grew up how we grew up, where it was like, I'm this thing, but I don't know if I'm okay to be proud of being this thing, so I'm just gonna like hide it. And then like the simplest school assignment, like, oh, bring your family tree, and you're like, well, half of my family is from here and half of my family is from here, but like, I have so many cousins that are like siblings, or like I have tias that are also like mummies. Like, how do you even work that into a family tree? Or like, oh, bring a dish from your home. And you're like, well, I am from a very blended home. What dish do I bring? Like, do I just like, I don't know, caramel in the arepas? Like how
croquetas.
It's like croquetas with arequipe. I don't know, some mixture like that.
Yeah.
But it's a lot about like, yeah, it's like the shattering of boxes is what is exciting for me. And the hey, it's okay that one single dish is not going to represent you. It's okay if it's 2 or 3, or if where you're born is not how you see yourself right now, or where you're living is not how you see yourself right now. And yeah, I think that's working on those kids' books. I think I was healing part of like an inner child.
Yeah.
for me.
Yeah, the kids' books nowadays are way better when it comes down to diversity and inclusion and just being seen.
Yes.
And saying, oh, she looks like me.
Like she understands.
Yeah, it's great. Goodness, we keep talking about work, but then we keep going into these other things. So let's leave a little work behind and get a little more to know you better.
Okay.
When you're not working, what do you do for fun?
So I video game quite a bit. RPGs are my thing. Currently I am like deep into Genshin Impact, which is an open world cross-platform free-to-play RPG. If anyone is interested. And so yeah, I game a lot. I do read. So I will finish prepping my book for work, and then I'm like, okay, here's my tablet. I'm gonna now read my book for me. And those are usually fantasies or romantasies, because I need to believe the world can be a better place. And I like going outside as long as it's not too hot, because I do overheat easy. And just take photos of nature, and that can be like a flower or a tree, or look at that fluffy cloud that looks like a bunny. I think that's like my fun life outside, and just going on adventures with my spouse is one of my favorite things to do.
Aw, that's cute. I say that as someone that's been married now for 24 years. I know. And it's like the fun thing, like, do you want to go get groceries?
I mean, and then it's an adventure because you're with them, right?
Yes, you try, you really try. But I think that's when, again, what the reading these books sometimes helps is how to have those feelings that we all get when we're reading these books, and the couples are just getting to know each other.
Yes.
And that's also like a little bit of a running joke. Like, when is someone going to do a romance when the couple has been married for 25 years? And I'm like, oh, no, I don't know how much. Okay, it might be interesting. Like, what do you mean you left the dishes again by the sink? By the sink, not next, not in the sink, but by the sink, right? Those conversations.
Like, that's not the right way to fill up the dishwasher. Why?
Yeah, but then you're going, wait, is this my mother?
Oh my gosh. I deeply adore my mother. We have a great relationship, but there's times where things come out of my mouth that I'm like, oh, there's my mom. Like, that was my mom.
Yep. and being bilingual, some of these are a doozy.
Yes.
Yeah. Is your spouse, I mean, if you don't mind me asking, is your spouse of Latin descent or no? They
are from the US. They're from Chicago.
Okay. Mine's igual. Mine is from Connecticut. And he grew up a lot in Miami, and so he's actually a Spanish teacher, but green eyes, blondish hair, and we're always constantly, like, people talk to me in Spanish, especially in Miami when we lived there, and would English to him, and I'm like, wait a minute.
So you could talk Spanish to him.
I do. Okay, a funny story which I tend to share sometimes is when we were first dating, and I would introduce him to my friends. Again, as people that are bilingual tend to do, they'll do something quick in a separate language, like in this case Spanish, thinking that the other person doesn't understand it.
Oh yes.
So it would be the introduction, and then it was the follow up of "Ay, qué guapo, oye, que está bonito," something like, "Oh, how cute," or "Oh, he's handsome," in Spanish, not knowing that he's a Spanish teacher.
And he's like, he understands everything.
Yeah, and sometimes he would play along like he didn't hear it, understand it. Other times he's like, "Gracias," and they're like, "Fuck." But we have very interesting sayings. Have you guys had this situation where you come up with something like "me cago en 10," or some form of analogy and stuff like that, and they're looking at you like, "What does that mean?" And then you have to translate.
Yes. So in I don't know if this is a Colombia thing or like dar papaya. No. Okay. Great.
Okay. So for me, papaya is a fruit.
Yes.
Okay. So we're in the same context because things mean different things. Okay.
So dar papaya is basically like the example I always give is like, if you are in like a touristy area where there's a lot of people and therefore probably a lot of like pickpockets just looking for unassuming victims, and you're wearing like a golden Rolex, or like your wallet is in your hands and you're just like flashing, like asking for it. Like that is dar papaya.
Oh, so you're just giving it away for free, almost like, okay.
Yes, but like no es papaya is like don't ask for it. So the first time he was like he went to visit Colombia, we were like, of course, doing all the touristy things that you only do when people visit. And my parents were like, oh, dile que no de papaya, que no de papaya. And he was like, what is this about papaya? Like the fruit? And I'm like, okay, sit down. So, so yeah, that one. And then again, I don't know if this is a Colombia thing or a universal thing, but like our version of saying like, oh shit is like, ay gonorrea. I don't know if you do this.
No, but it sounds like, oh no, gonorrhea. But
so basically like our version of like, and it's a very versatile word because something can be like, it can be good, it can be bad, it can be abundant, and it can be una gonorrea. So we were watching, we were watching a show, and then there was this like big twist, and I literally go like, ay gonorrea, and he pauses it, and he's like, did you just yell an STD at the television? I'm like, see? Allow me to explain, because yes, I did, but and like those, there are many that sometimes I'll say, or I'll translate it in English, and he was like, what? I don't understand. You said words, but I don't think they mean what you think they mean. So yeah, it's always fun when you're like this like saying or like thing that is like drilled into you, and then you try to either explain it or say it in English, and it doesn't land the same.
Yeah. Well, like there's a someone on Instagram and now TikTok too, where I think it's Cuban heritage, and she'll do the different skits of with the abuela and the tias, and then she did an entire thing where it was Spanish and then the literal translation of it in English, and it was a lot of like things, and one of them was like me cago en 10, which means I shit on 10. Yes. And usually that's Cuban for like when you stub your toe, you're like fuck, it's like the things like that. But I me cago en 10, I don't know where they get it from. I don't understand some of the things, but it's very, in Chile is no sea huevón. Like don't, like some people will say, meaning like, again, little translation, don't be an egg.
Yes, don't be a big egg.
And at least in Chile, it means like don't be a dick or don't be stupid or lazy. And so it all depends. But there's also words like bicho that in Cuba means a bug. And in other islands and other countries means either the sexual anatomy pieces.
Yes.
Straw is another one that the word straw is another one that every country has a different meaning for it.
Pajilla, popete, pitillo.
Absorbente is mine.
Yeah.
Yep. And then, as being bilinguals, how many times has the Spanish word creeped in when you were trying to think of it in English, and vice versa?
Oh, constantly. My in-laws were visiting just last week, and it's been, and what now I'm forgetting the word again. So I literally like 3-paragraph explanation trying to get to this word in English that I could not remember. And then my mother-in-law was like, oh, this, and I'm like, yes, that exactly, thank you.
So much fun.
I think especially like, I don't know, also like working as a narrator, the fact that I like 2 phonetic alphabets in my brain.
Yep.
And in Spanish, the vowels a, e, I, o, u, they sound how they are written. In English, there's like 27 different sounds for the letter A, depending on what's before, after, or where it is in the word. And like, sometimes I'm just like, my brain, I can tell when I'm getting tired because I'll default to like, oh, that's not how you would say it in English. That's not the right A. And it's just hard navigating that. Like, I have to warm up my body, but I also need to warm up my brain before I narrate to be like, okay, English phonetics engaged.
Yeah. It's definitely, even like with names, sometimes when I've been doing script prepping and I have to, there's a word, I'm going, okay, where is this from? Okay, it's in California. So it's probably going to sound more Spanish than if it was like in the Midwest. And I'm like, wait, what do you mean it's 10 instead of 10? I'm like, oh goodness gracious. So yeah, it's fun. It can be very entertaining. And this is one of the parts for the next question, that being bilingual is also even more fun. What is your favorite word? Different from a curse word, because that's the second part of this question.
My favorite word, like to say?
Or meaning behind a favorite word.
Oh my gosh. I'm like, I know a lot of words I don't like. What is my favorite? I think it is a curse word, probably. Like, we have really good curse words in Spanish.
Yeah.
Just those with like lots of syllables and lots of R's that you're just like tasting the word as you're saying it. Oh, I really don't know.
Okay. Well, we can always table that for now.
Mm-hmm.
Ask you next time you're on the show. Like, so now with the word. So what is your favorite curse word?
In Spanish?
English or Spanish, lo que sea.
Well, I think there's something very magical about the word pendejo.
Uh-huh. Mm-hmm.
Because it's like, it's assertive and it's aggressive, but it's not entirely like, you know, your grandma's not going to clutch her pearls, but like sometimes like yelling pendejo at someone or at the television, it's like cathartic.
Mm-hmm.
And then I feel like the other one is, it's the one we all know, the catre y jue, wee. Adding multipliers depending on the occasion.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like, meow. Yeah.
The sound effects are fantastic.
And
those that speak Spanish, like, I know exactly what she was saying.
you know, guys.
Yeah. That is something about Spanish when it comes down to cursing. We'll use multiple words and just collect them all together and make one really long curse.
That is beautiful. And we know exactly what we're saying.
Yep.
Yes. Oh, I know a word I really like. Parce, which I don't get to use a lot, which basically translates to like buddy or friend in English, but it can also be like an exclamation. Like someone can be your parce, like your friend, but also you can say like, "Uy, parce," and that's like saying like, "Oh, damn." And I say that a lot. And I didn't used to say it when I lived in Colombia, but I moved away and suddenly everyone's parce and parce this and parce that. And I don't get to speak Spanish a lot here. So it's in phone calls with my mom where she's like, why do you keep saying parce? And I'm like, girl, I don't know. Here I am.
Because you understand it.
I don't say it to anyone else.
Yeah. I get it. There's sometimes where there's times, again, in this now growing up as an adult, it seems to be like more English in the house. And then whenever I do go out, depends on who's around.
Yes, 100%. And there's just something refreshing about, you know, just sometimes you want to switch back and forth and having someone who understands both sides of it is just like, it's nice.
Yes. And code switching happens a lot too. And I've even noticed it too, depending on who's around and who you're talking to. And that when people say code switching, it's not just specific words and stuff like that. It's also the language itself and how you're using it. Yeah, it's very interesting.
So have a word for something in one language that doesn't exist in the other one, and then you're like, again, 3-paragraph explanation of what you're trying to say, and it doesn't land the same.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. 2 truths and a lie. Let's have that one because it's always fun to see what you guys come up with. Okay. You're gonna tell us 3 things about yourself, of which one of them is a lie, and we have to figure out which one that is. And I say we because the people that are listening are also playing along. So what are your 3 things?
Okay. My first thing is I didn't have a root beer float until I was in my 20s. The second thing is I am a Guinness World Record holder. And the third thing is I've never ever cut my own hair.
Wow.
Ding, 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 ding.
Didn't have a root beer float until your 20s. You are a Guinness World Record holder and you have never cut your own hair. Which one's the lie? Kind of want to say the root beer float is a lie.
I actually had not had a root beer float until I moved to the US because I didn't know it was a thing.
Okay. See, you stumbled on it and you're like, root beer float is what it took me. I kind of think it's kind of cool that if you would have a Guinness World Record, but I'm not sure. Sorry, that's my doggy's alarm to get her seizure medication. My phone's on mute, by the way, and on silent. So how that alarm went through, I have no idea. All right. So out of these 3 things, let's see. You never cut your hair is the lie?
I've never cut my own hair. No.
Okay. Okay. So the world record is a lie.
No.
No, wait.
I have cut my own hair.
Okay.
Sorry, that is the lie. I have 4 Guinness World Records.
4?
For very silly things. But I do have them, and they're framed.
Nice. See, yes. I was like, I really want her to have that be a truth. 4. Wow. Okay.
They're probably not in the books anymore, and they're not a big deal, but like they happen, and I was like, that's a cool character building moment right there.
Yeah. Hey, listen, don't try taking the credit away from you. Don't do that.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yes.
You're right.
It's something that was done. You did it. No one else, that's why it's a world record. You killed it in whatever it is that you did. That you're not telling us, so that's fine. I'm not gonna ask. It's okay. But whatever it was, though, you did it, and so you deserve it. So do not take that away from yourself.
I appreciate you. Thank you for saying that.
Of course.
I received that.
Good. I do it to myself all the time. But it's important that we don't reduce ourselves and don't give ourselves the credit for the work that we've done. So
yes, facts. Yes.
So you are a first-time guest, so you may not know this or where this originated from. Guilty pleasures. It is a question that I usually ask on the Patreon side that is part of the Would You Rather segment, where I make you choose between 2 things. And yes, I do all love you, even though I do that. And the question is, would you rather tell everyone your guilty pleasures or never partake in your guilty pleasures ever again? And 99.999% of all the guests has always been like, oh yeah, I'll tell everybody. But we never really move into part 2 of what those guilty pleasures are. Okay. And the conversation is about, the next time that you're on, we'll talk about them. And then we move on, and never really did that. So I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to start asking, because we need to demystify that guilty pleasures are a bad thing. Because they're not. And also, not all of our guilty pleasures have to do with the red room, folks. It could just be eating ice cream for dinner, and that's okay. So what are some of your guilty pleasures?
Okay, so a very specific one is earrings that are large but not dangly, so that like they don't dingle when I move my head, because then I can wear them and feel pretty and record. So it's a very specific guilty pleasure, but believe it or not, they're hard to find, because usually if you think big earrings, they dangle. So big non-dangly earrings, I will hunt for them. And if I love them, they will come home with me. I'm wearing some right now from Colombia. That's my first guilty pleasure. That is kind of silly, but brings me joy. Another guilty pleasure is anything like bright pink as an adult, not necessarily clothing, but like water bottles, mouse pads, phone covers. So everything surrounding me is pink right now. And I think that's because so much of my childhood, I was like, I must be different. Therefore, if I identify as a girl, I must not love pink. So my favorite color was blue, allegedly, for the longest time. And I do still love blue, but pink just brings my inner child so much joy. So anything pink, and I know there is an upcharge on pink things usually because of the whole pink market or whatever it is that it's called. But I will succumb to it because pink things bring me joy. And then my last guilty pleasure is, okay, so we have this thing, this like candy in Colombia. It's called bonbon. Which is basically a lollipop that has a hard outer shell, and then it's filled with bubble gum. My guilty pleasure is eating one of those whenever I'm gaming, because I used to do that growing up. I would just bring a whole like 12-pack, and then I would just like pop one, chew it, gum, spit it out, next one. So that just, I guess it also makes me feel like a kid again. So I purposely only buy them whenever I go visit Colombia, because they're not great for cavities. So that is my guilty pleasure, eating bonbon while gaming. Heaven.
Nice. And boom boom boom, that's also a mouthful, literally. Boom
Yes.
boom. And I love that you're also like a 12-pack. I'm like, some people bring a 12-pack of beer or some chips. He's like, no, with the boom boom booms. Got it.
Yes, I bring the candy.
I hear you. It's but the sweets and stuff is important. I know that part of the culture too sometimes is having those desserts or a little piece of like a candy here and there as a special treat. So those are always great.
I do firmly believe having candy after your meal will cleanse your body, and I will not be taking any comments on that because I think it's factual information, even though it's probably not checked with your doctor. But I do think after eating a big meal, you have a little piece of candy, and then you're a happy person.
Nice. Hey, it's about being happy at the end of the day. Yes. Life is hard enough as it is. Adulting sucks. They didn't tell us this stuff when we were kids wanting to be adults. So candy it is, okay?
A little bit, just a palate cleanser.
Yes, it's a little palate cleanser, and also it gives you a little bit of more sweet dreams when you go to bed.
Oh, I love that. Yes,
it also helps ignites that. Yeah.
Yes.
Well, I could continue talking to you forever, girl. Yeah. Before we wrap up, though, why don't you tell us what you're currently working on that you can share and what's coming up next?
Oh wait, let me take a trip and go to Audible real quick to see if it's out. I don't think it is yet. And I'll just sing to you all while I type my name in Audible. La la la. Okay. Oh, I guess it hasn't been announced, but I can tell you of my most recent one that came out. Because what I'm working on right now is by Caroline Frank, but it hasn't been announced yet. So that's, I guess, all I can really truly tell you. But the last one that came out was Cabaret in Flames by Hache, Hache Puello. And it's like a gothic, like it is a romance, but it's so much more than that. And it's like a dystopian, but so much more than that. It's like a beautifully layered story. And it has this like very strong female lead, and then there's love, but it's not about just that, and there's like finding yourself, but not about just that. And like the premise is very simple, like there is two people trying to find a third who has gone missing, but the writing is beautiful, the characters are like deep and real and human and humane, and it was just, I had so much fun and such a good time, and such like a I don't want to say the word is visceral, but like truly it felt like real and relevant and just deliciously accurate and also magical. I'm saying just all adjectives. I feel like Lady Gaga on that video. Cabaret in Flames, Hache Puello. It's all the good things, and it's a great story with great characters, and I cannot recommend it enough. I was honored that I got to work in this as a narrator, and I'm glad I got introduced to them through this. That was a long answer.
You said that the one that that hasn't been announced by Caroline Frank.
Yes,
hasn't been announced. It's you're not seeing it in the coming soon for pre-orders.
Let's see.
Because I'm looking at Audible.
Really saying to oh my God, it is there. Okay.
I mean, Cabaret in Flames sounds fantastic. It's great. Yes. I mean, literally, I was like, wow, okay, I'm adding it to my list. But I'm like, where is she looking? Because I'm looking and I'm seeing.
It is up. I wasn't. So did you know you could sort your Audible finds by new to old friends?
I did.
So it's called Tastes Like Summer. I'm recording it right now. It is a romance, but also so much more. And it's there's an immigrant family, eldest daughter, single mom, single dad. Again, true layered characters that are so much more than just stereotypes, beautiful writing, family dynamics, all the good things. I had a blast prepping it. I'm having a blast recording it right now. And it's coming soon to you. The cover's not there, but the metadata is, so I can celebrate it.
Yeah, once it's out on Audible, it's like fair game.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I mean, I was looking at it, I'm going, I don't think she sorted it yet.
No, I had not. It was just defaulted to whatever it is. A featured. Yeah, there you go.
Featured. Yeah, it always goes to featured. Yeah. Sometimes, and it also depends on how you're looking. If you're on the phone or you're on iPad or all that fun stuff. Mm-hmm. Fun times. Well, those are good. I'm going to look and get into those two and add them to my endless list of TBRs. But those are going to be on the top one. Yeah.
Aw. Yeah. The TBR that never dies.
It never dies. It never will. It's okay. It's fine. It's what happens when people keep writing fantastic stories and narrators keep raving on the stories that they like. So it's always
a good problem to have.
It is. It really is. And for those that are like, it's called the library. Okay, I'm not even going to finish the first sentence. People thinking about it's called the library. A lot of these books are available there. Look it up or request it.
Yes.
That's the other thing. You can request books in libraries.
And it makes authors so happy when you request books for the libraries.
Yeah, it really does. And things like that. Because there's always that other conversation like, it's so expensive. I'm like, yeah, there's a reason for it, but still, libraries.
Yes.
Support your local libraries.
Yeah. They will love you for it, and so will we.
Yes. All the libraries are fantastic. And they're very important. I mean, I grew up, that was like, my castigo was like no library. And that was for those like castigo means grounding and punishment. And I was a good kid overall, but damn, when I got in trouble, I was like, I want to go to the library. You would think library would be like not, no, my mom's like, that's your favorite place. No. Like, nah. No, Mama, mommy, no, please. I'm sorry.
Yeah, my library when I lived in the Bay Area, that was my safe space where I was like, I want to like be outside, but not interact with people and just like go do my homework in the library. Yeah. It was lovely.
Lovely. Great. Well, thank you so much for hanging out with me today. It's been so much fun. It really has.
Thank you for having me. It really has been. I can't believe time flew by.
Yeah.
Let's do another hour.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, that's just why people are like, man, your episodes are long. I'm like, that's because we're having fun.
Yes.
And you can pause it, folks.
You can. Two-part it. If Wicked could two-part it, if Harry Potter could two-part it, if Twilight 4 could two-part it, you can two-part it too.
Exactly. If Outlander can do it, for frick's sakes, come on. Yes. Yeah. If you're not following Dominique on her social media, don't worry. I will give you all the links in the show notes over at Viviana's Enchantress of Books website, and also include some of the stuff that we talked about, so you don't have to remember that what thing that she said about the papayas. Because I take notes, okay? But until next time, everyone, thanks again for listening. Happy listening.
That's it, dirty girl, I murmured. Are you going to leave a wet spot on my sweatpants? Let everyone know how filthy you've been instead of studying?
What do you want?
Tristan, you, world domination.
Yes, like that. Such a good girl for me.
Watch out, Sparrow, lest you fly too close to the sun.
Get dark and dirty with Twisted Play, Vicious Games Book 1 by Poppy Jacobson. Available at adleraudios.com/Poppy Jacobson.
Thank you to all of our Audiobook Lovin Podcast Patreon. The Audiobook Lovin Podcast has special Patreon access levels. Join today to receive benefits including early access to episodes, special exclusive content, and much more. Support the podcast by becoming a Patreon at www.patreon.com/audiobookloving. We thank you for your support.
Thank you for joining us on the Audiobook Lovin Podcast, hosted by Viviana, Enchantress of Books. For links and more information discussed in today's episode, previous podcasts, or the Audiobook Lovin Series, please visit our website, vivianaenchantressofbooks.com. If you enjoyed today's episode, please leave a positive review wherever you listen to our podcast. Until next time, happy listening.